Hello, my crafty friends. I am back today with a floral video featuring the floral products from this month's club kits from Spellbinders. Now, this month's Spellbinders clubs are quite unique as they have artsy products and they have floral products, a mixture, which I love the combination. It gives us so many versatile avenues to go down. And I fell in love with this beauty right here from the Stamp and Die set of the month. It's called Colorful Expressions Blossoms. And I have heat embossed it ahead of time just using VersaFine black ink and clear embossing powder. So I have that all done up for us. And I have embossed with the 3D embossing folder. The 3D embossing folder is the Floral Impressions embossing folder. And I have went ahead and embossed this 3D embossing folder. Gosh, is it not stunning? I'm sorry, guys. I'm just totally losing my mind here. Look at the detail. Look at these flowers, these little flowers, and these huge roses. And this is cut down to an A2. So I'm only using a small portion of this massive embossing folder. These folders are amazing at, I believe it's 5x8 in size. You can actually get two A2s out of it if you want to do it that way, or a 5x7 or a slimline. So they're very versatile. They're well worth the price. And the texture is just amazing. But anyways, I thought these paired up beautifully together. And I was pulling from the Color Cube card number 10 for my color scheme today. So this is where we're going with this. Very soft, unusual color scheme, at least for me. So I pulled this in and I went bold for the background, going with this idea. Now my colors aren't exact. Of course, this is darker and bolder, but this is just a kickoff. I mean, it's just a place to start, and then you become the artist and you change it up the way you see fit. So this is where I started. And now we're jumping off and we're going to design the rest of it. So let's start by doing some Copic coloring together. Just going to move that out of the way. I did also heat emboss the two big sentiments from the set, For You and Hello. Those are both heat embossed also. And I've die cut some of the foliage from the large die of the month. So this is just some of the smaller foliage from it. And I thought we might work it in here and there. We'll see. I created this little tiny floral just in practice to see how close I could get it to one of these little buds. I was totally using this out of the way the packaging shows on the large die, just to give you an idea of how your creative juices can flow. This is the little stamen on this large flower that I used in the center. This little one here actually goes to this large sprig. So I put them in the center of this small flower, and I saw that as an idea to create something similar to this bud, which I believe is a cherry blossom, if I'm not mistaken. It doesn't say that on the packaging, but I think it's a cherry blossom. And I do love me some cherry blossoms. So that's where we're going. So let's get creative. So I've got Copic markers. I am using for the pinks, I've got R02 and R11. For the browns, I've got E84 and 87. For the greens, I've got YG61 and 63 for this color here. And then for this center color right here, I have pulled YG11. So those are all of my Copic colors. Some of you have expressed that you'd like to know when I'm coloring with Copics what color I'm actually using. So let's color up the flowers. I'm going to start with R02, and I'm just going to come in here and do some flicks in our flowers, kind of going for a peachy pink look. And I'm going to do it just very carefully here on our buds. So we'll just come in and do some light flicks. I kind of would like this to be a little bit lighter than this, but it's what we're going with. So just doing some light flicks to get us some base color down. Want to leave room for blending there on the outside. I'm not wanting to go all the way out. So here I'm going to start in the middle and flick out. Remember, when you're working with Copics and you're thinking of darks and lights, you are always going to be darker down in the crevice down in here. And then on the outside here, you're going to be darker down at the bottom. Then you're going to have some lighter space at the tip there where the sunshine or your light source is touching those edges. So just remember that stuff underneath, like at the bottom of the flower, is going to be your darker. And that's what I'm doing right now, is mapping in where the darker colors would be. So I'm just going here, leaving that white space, which will be my highlight in the end if I don't fill it in. And then here, same thing. I'm going to come up and lightly stroke upwards and leaving a highlight. Same thing with these. I'm just going to add a tiny bit of color here. We're going to start in the center and just bring in a tiny bit of color. Here, I'm just going to go around this bottom. It's not much space there to work with, so you just got to work with what you got. Okay, I think I am happy with that. So now I'm going to take the next color, which is R11, and I'm going to come in here and let's see. This is not much different. I'm going to add just a little bit of depth here. I'm kind of surprised this is not much of a darkening. Let's see. You know what? This R2 is actually darker than the R11 and 12. Start with your R11, then switch for the darkening to your R2. This is the R2 now, and you see how I'm getting that darker in the center? I just started the wrong way around. Sorry about that. I'm noticing it now that I have the colors on though. Usually with markers, the lower the number, the lighter, but because I'm not using numbers or markers super close together, it was the opposite. So I'm just adding in some more of these shadows so I have a little bit more contrast there. I love this peachy pink color. It's really, really pretty. You know what? I really also like those white highlights that I'm leaving. I think I'm not even going to pull and drag the color up too high because I'm enjoying those white highlights. But if you don't want them so much, go back to your lighter marker and do just some extra flicks out here with your lighter marker from where the dark transitions to the lighter, and just go and flick a little bit more, really small flicks, and you will get a super nice transition there. Now that I've got the right direction in markers, you can see where the transitioning from dark to light is happening. I'm still going to leave the white there though, because I really like the way that looks. So I know it's really hard in the video to tell, but it does come darker and then it gets lighter out here, and then the white leaves the highlight. And then when you put it up against this dark, it's going to really make it pop. Plus, of course, we're going to do the other colors. So we'll do that next. Is the YG61. We'll start with that. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to color from the base and leave little white tips on the tips of my leaves. Really fast swooping, doesn't take much. Here I'll go ahead and fill it in, since these are such small little bits here at the bases of the flowers, because this is our lighter marker. Okay, then I'll go in with the YG63, and we will just add a little bit darker here and in the center where those stem lines are, the base and the center. I'm leaving light around the edges, just the base where the shadow would be, and then just the little bit of stems. Like the way that looks. Then we'll do the browns. I'll start with the E84 and we'll do these stems. And for the brown, I will go ahead and color this in with the light. Okay. And then with the dark, which is your E87, I'm just going to come in right where some of those artist drawn lines are. And mostly you're just trying to give a hint of variation. I'm doing really tiny little flecks just to give a hint of where that wood is just not, you don't want it to look all the same color. So I'm just kind of giving it some little depth by adding that second color. But you can kind of use the artist drawn lines or go with the bottom shadowing of the branch, either where it's hidden going behind a flower or along the bottom, like here, the bottom of the branch, and leaving the top of the branch light. So let me show you that up close. We got it all done. And then when we put it on here, it will be very pretty. Okay, so now we'll do these little flowers. And for the flowers, we're going to use the same colors. This time I'll do the right order. I'll start with the R11 for the lighter color. And I'm just going to flick from the center. We're going to be covering the center with the stamens. So I'm just going to kind of flick from the center and flick some of that light out. Here again, leaving the white tips of the flower petal. Kind of using the side of my brush and just giving it a smooth, even stroke. And when you're stroking and you're kind of going up. And when you do that stroke, when your brush lifts, it gives a lighter, fluffier, kind of softer end to your brush stroke. And it makes it kind of feather out. And that's where a lot of your blending comes from, is when it's all in the shape of your flick. So we're going to do that. Then we're going to take the YG11 and we're going to take these little guys, turn this one over, and we're just going to give these guys a little bit of this color right here. I just wanted to add that in somewhere. So I'm just going to, and here again, I'm not going to go all the way to the top. I'm just going to give a little bit, a hint of this green in there. And this circle again is going to be covered, so you don't need to fill that in, but I'm just going to just give a light, soft brushing of those, leaving white space. And then we will glue these down real quick to each other. So we'll put some glue in the center of our two flowers and on the circles of our two stamens. And then we will be able to put our center on our stamen and our stamen on our flower. Boom, 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 and boom. How is that? Quick and simple. Okay. So now let's put our card together. So I'm thinking we should pop this up a little bit right here so we have some depth there. So let me grab some adhesive. This is not quite thin enough for that bottom piece, that bottom row. So I'm going to put these right here like this, and I think it will be okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's what I've done there. Before I peel all this, I want to get an idea for my placement because I'm wanting to add some of these foliage leaves here. And I was thinking maybe one in the background there and one maybe coming out the background here. So I'm thinking, depending on where we're going to place this, I need to hook those down first, and I want to make sure the stems are hidden. I don't want those stems showing back here, so I'm going to get creative and glue my pieces down. And actually, I could actually cut the little stems off, and that'll make it even easier. And that way I can just glue my leaves where I want them. So that's where I'm thinking I want them. So I'm going to lift this, and I'm going to go ahead and add glue under these. Okay, I've removed all the sticky tape from the back, or the release tapes from the back. Now I'm just going to center this like so. Oh, this is looking so pretty. Okay, we'll get that all pushed down. We got those foliages in the back. Now we get to play with our little flowers, and I'm seeing my flowers are not quite dark enough, and I just realized we never added the dark in here. So let me just come in here and add some of that dark. Got a little carried away, I think, but I'm just noticing it. Y'all are probably screaming at me, aren't you? So let's add the dark in here. Okay. Now remember, that was R2, R02, and now the lighter one is R11. And that's where I had messed up at the beginning. That's why I'm repeating that. So now we can add these. And they kind of coordinate with our little cute bouquet here. I also have some smaller foliage we can add as well. Plus we have the sentiment. So we have these that we can add, and we can either add them back here if we want to, or we can add them on top. Let's see. Where should we add them? I kind of like both. I kind of like this corner for one. And then I kind of like underneath for one. And I'm thinking I might lift this foam and scooch it under like that. So then we have these branches, and maybe have a little bit coming up here. Didn't think about that ahead of time, of course. So let's see if I can scooch any of this under this foam tape and put it right there. And like you see, you can always put this other one, and you can pull it and do another one right here. See how you can do that? You can just have little bits and pieces coming here and there, like so. And then for the sentiment, we could either use hello, we could use for you. I think I like hello better. You could also put it up top if you wanted to, but I was really wanting it here. So maybe we can move this over slightly or up a little bit and tilt it. So we can put hello right here. I just noticed that this one is cut off just a little bit. So I think I'm going to overlap these so that that is covered up with my sentiment. Look how you can fix something as easy as that, just by disguising it like so. But I want it to show up here like that. So then I can just have the hello right here, like that. So I will glue all this together and I will show you the finished project momentarily. Thank you for stopping by today, my friends, and I hope you've enjoyed this project. All the links are down below, so anything that you've seen that you might be interested in, those links do support me in my efforts to inspire you. So thank you so much for using them. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye, my friends.